Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about the American politics. We're in the King Trump era. He has just absolutely, virtually slaughtered um, Kamala Harris, exactly as I predicted. I predicted it on August 9th that that he would handily defeat um, Kamala Harris. It wouldn't be a small margin. I literally knew more than Alan Lichtman, right? This professor who's been studying, how to call an election for all these years. The keys are dead. The keys are dead. The keys are dead. What I want to talk about today is postmortem. So, let's give credit where credit is due. The Democrats are doing it. They are looking in very high detail about what the heck happened, and the win of Trump was so dramatic, right, that they have to look it full in the face and they have to say what's happening, and they are. Pod Save America. One thing that really shocks me about Pod Save America is they have these moments of crystal clarity, and then they go back to this ridiculous spin that is just pure nonsense talk, right? And echo chamber material, right? So, and I'm aware of this too. Like, we want to talk, and one of the things that I want to do is I don't want to say the same things over and over again. I'm really trying to make sure that every word I'm saying is not just a repeat, right? And so let's get into this. So first of all, this postmortem is happening, and it is extremely detailed and extremely correct, right? So Marianne Williamson, right? She had said, "Hey, you guys are not having an open and fair election," right? And I think she's 100% right. Like, Kamala Harris, how do we get Kamala Harris? Nobody picked her, right? Like, and so Marianne Williamson broke it down, and she said it flat out, absolutely correctly. She's like, who's to blame? The DNC, okay, the donor class, and the media elites. The media elites lied through their teeth constantly. Every single poll that was discussed on every single news outlet was outrageous gaslighting and lying. And the reason why is everybody already knew that polls were utter garbage, and that these numbers and that spreadsheets were open, and in one cell it was 100 people polled, and in another cell it was like 14 people chose Trump, and in the next cell it was unicorn tears, and in the next cell it was pixie wings, and in the next cell it was sunlight dust, right? Like, it was just pure emotion, pure imagination, pure desire. Like, you could read a romance novel with better math, right? Like, there was nothing there, right? And this polling thing is utterly ridiculous, because we went around and around and around, and you could hear John Dickerson over on Slate. He's like, "Hey, we're talking about a poll again. You guys are aware, like, the margin of error on these is like 6-8%. And almost everything they were calling was like 2. You're like, nothing that's talking about here is even remotely real. This is, and so media elite, absolutely too. And so let's, what did Marianne Williams say? She said, who's to blame? The DNC, right? Absolutely correct. The donor class, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. They were like, hey, Biden's a safe bet. We need to keep him in the slot. Man, he couldn't talk. His senescence and decay. Senescence and decay, right? Those aren't my words. Somebody else did it. A brilliant way to describe Biden. Senescence and decay, right? Just literally rotting in front of your eyes, right? Like, this guy belongs on a porch sipping tea with his grandkids visiting him. He does not belong on the road, like, visiting, like, the sites of tornado, like the sites of tornado wrecks, right? He could barely even stand, right? Like, it was, and this is the point, is Democrats were just, and Marianne Williams had called it right, the donor class, the media elite, the DNC, and she said, and the reason they are all to blame, right, is that they stopped a fair and open electoral process, right? There should have been real primaries. There should have been real debates. There should have been a real open convention, and the Democrats shut down every single one. And no, not the Democrats, the DNC, the media elite, and the donor class. They were outrageously unfair. What they did was a cultural crime. A cultural crime, right? And we need to remember what Marianne Williams is saying. And also, I gotta say, she's coming out smelling like roses, because she's saying, "Hey, everybody brushed me off." The worst description I ever heard of her was a wine witch. Like, I was like, "Oh, that's a little." I think they said that one on SNL, right? Like, and you're like, I could see her in a coven, and I also think I could see her drinking red, right? Like, that one was a little too on the nose, right? But she really came out like thunder, right? And she's hitting some bangers. She's really smart, and the reality is she has some very woo-woo spiritual ideas, but she's super smart, and she should have had a chance. She should have had a real chance to be president. And the DNC stole it, the donor class stole it, and the immediate media elites stole it. They stole it from her, right? Brilliant, brilliant language from Marianne Williamson. And also, I want to say, Democrats out there, we just beat you. We beat you bad. But I have a ton of respect for how you're doing in breaking this down and looking at it with real concern and with genuine movement. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, because that's all that's left, right? Any twiddly nonsense person throwing numbers at you from a spreadsheet, ain't nobody believing that noise anymore, right? We've been doing it for 12 years, right? Pretending that polls work. Unbelievable. Every single word you just heard is my opinion. You get to choose whether you believe it or not, right? Because that's all that people are given anymore. They're doing the best they can to look at the evidence, and then they're giving you their opinion. And every single one of us is choosing to believe an opinion or not, right? Because the reality is numbers are fairy dust and apple wings. It's nothing, right? It's nothing, right? And data-driven world. It's the most ridiculous, most like this was for real stakes, and people and literally 1,000 pundits sat and read numbers off of their spreadsheets. All of it was false. All of it was lies. All of it was gaslighting, right? Data-driven world, my left cheek. All right. Obviously, thanks. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less, right? The important part is when I get to your humble opinion. And guess what? I value it, right? And I am going to consider it far more than any person sitting at me squawking about numbers on a spreadsheet, right? Please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.